Hey guys, John here. In this video, I want to go over every single mod so far that I put onto my 2022 3rd Gen Toyota Tundra, tell you some of the things that I like about them, some of the things I may have done differently, and what I have plans for the next truck based on these mods. Alright guys, so let's start with the window tint. So all I did for window tint is the driver's side and passenger side front windows. I did ceramic film and I went at 25% to blend it-ish into the back. So the reason why I only did these front two windows, because I knew I was only gonna have this truck for about a year until I wanted to get a hybrid, so I didn't feel like spending the extra money on other windows to get the stuff tinted. However, what I wish I did tint was the front window. You could tell that this front window is a bit raked, and the more I drove it, I just really wish that I tinted that maybe like a 75%, because when you put these wind visors down, like that's your visibility. And yes, you can move it a little bit, but it's such a slanted window that having some window tint on the front window would have actually been pretty nice to have. So I'll definitely do that with the next truck, put window tint on the front windshield and also the two passenger windows. I think that that's the way to go on this truck. Next thing that I want to talk about is the wheel and tire combo. So these are Relation race wheels, RR6 hybrids. The reason they are called hybrid is because you can run them with a bead lock. You see these little like holes right here. You could actually run them with a bead lock, or you could run them with protection rings, which is pretty sweet. And then the tires that are around them are Nitto Ridge Grapplers 35 by 12.5 R17s. The offset of these wheels are a 0 offset because Relation race wheels didn't have a positive offset, so like that's my poke with this. The only thing I would change with this, and it is my fault, but the place that I took them to get them mounted, they didn't have tire pressure sensors, and I never really checked the PSI of the actual tires. That's just on me. But they had these things at freaking 50 PSI. 50 PSI on a half-ton truck, 10-ply tires, kind of asking for a rough ride, right? So when I was in Arizona, I asked Westcott Designs, hey, what do you guys send all your trucks out on that you guys put 35s on? And they said anywhere from like 35 PSI to 40. I lowered it down to 39 PSI all the way around. Holy smokes, it drives so much better. So I really wouldn't change anything on the tires. I may go a smaller tire size on the next truck. Not really maybe a 10-ply, maybe like a 6-ply or an 8-ply tire, and maybe not as big of 35s in diameter, but definitely not width. And it's not because the truck can't handle it, it's just I really don't want to tax the next truck's motor, especially if I'm going to be towing like a boat and a camper and stuff with it. The Tundra freaking eats up 35s and it looks so good. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Westcott Designs 3-1 collar lift kit that is put on the Tundra. So the positives: super affordable, fits the OEM parts like crazy, retains the OEM ride like 96%, and it makes your truck look super good to really clear the 35-inch tires if you guys elect to put 35-inch tires on the truck. The only thing that I would do differently about this kit in the next build, like if I used it for a future Tundra project, is when I was messing around with stuff in the back to put the Westcott kit on top of the rear springs, I would basically put different springs in the back of the truck, because yes, I'm on like a little bit of a slope right now, but the Westcott kit, it already comes a little bit raked, which is just the style of the West Coast, and it's just the style of Westcott's kit. But then you put the deck system in the bed of the truck or any weight in the bed of the truck, and it really lifts that front end up and it really squats the rear end. So the springs that Toyota put on these vehicles, they're not the best. It rides super comfortable when it is completely stock and brand new, but the moment that you start putting weight in the bed of the truck, the moment you start towing with it, the back end of the truck really squats down. So when we were back there and the spring's already out of the truck, all that stuff, I probably just would have put some Dobinson's like multi-rate springs, I believe is what they're called, like multi-coil springs. So it compresses, but it starts to give resistance basically on the coils of the springs. I forget what they're actually called, but I put some different springs in the back. Highly recommend the Westcott kit, but if you're back there and you know that you're going to be putting weight in the back of your truck, swap out the springs for something more heavy duty. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is all the Tufskinz products. Yeah, they're not, crazy mods, but I do want to touch on them. I love them. They stick to the truck so freaking good. So the front, no issues there. Coming on into the inside where I did some Tufskinz mods too, we have it protection down on the door sill. Wouldn't change anything about that because it actually protects it when you're getting in and out of the truck. All this cup holder stuff is nice, and the product really does work because I finally got my center console replaced, and I tried to take the Tufskinz off of that one to put onto this. Definite no-go. It stuck so well that it started to rip it in half on the center console. So the only thing, maybe not white in here, but red there. Not really complaining at all about the Tufskinz products. The only one that I really did actually take off was the ones back here on the front or on the rear bumper. I had their kind of like rugged textured one on the back bumper, and for me, I like that my Tundra, I don't care for the chrome a whole lot. I mean, I do, but I don't. But I didn't like just the black bumper. It kind of looked cheap on the rear end of my Tundra, so I just took that one off. Since we're in the back, we'll continue with some more mods. I did some steps. I did an OEM step. This is from Yoda Garage. I do have a video on it on my channel, but the only thing I don't care about for just the step itself and just the way Toyota did it is like so close to your freaking bumper that you almost touch your paint every single time you want to put this step down. So I mean, it's pretty close, and like I have to basically touch the bumper just to lower the step. So it's just so close to the bumper. So I'm not sure if there'll be another company out there in the future that just makes a better product of it or something. So we'll just wait on that. We'll go into the bed of the Tundra because this is kind of a big one. I have the decked system in here. So the deck system has been great for when we needed it on road trips to throw stuff in the drawers of this, keep it protected from the elements and stuff. We load up this side. This is basically like the dog side with we put like their leashes and stuff right here. We have a smaller one for their food, and like the deck system is really, really cool. I do enjoy it. What I don't enjoy is the fact that I don't like have a truck bed anymore. I mean, all this is cool, but I don't have a truck bed anymore. And now that I sold my Tacoma, I'm really using this like as an actual truck, because when I just needed a truck for truck things, the Tacoma didn't have anything in the bed, so I just threw it all in the bed of the Tacoma. It was fine. But now that I don't have the Tacoma and I'm relying on this as my actual truck, it's kind of annoying in the sense that this is really all your bed depth, right? I mean, maybe 8 inches or so, that's all you really get. So anything you basically put in the back of your Tundra, it goes over the rails, you know? So if this was a construction truck, like I used my deck for construction, or if I had a whole bed racked here, like I'm not knocking this drawer system. I love this drawer system. I'll be putting it on a future project too. If you're using your truck for a truck and not, you know, a whole overland build where you have the bed rack anyways, and you have a tent up above, and your bed is essentially useless, and you're really using this for storage, 100%. This is the way to go. But when you're trying to use your truck for like legit truck stuff, I mean, I mentioned in a video the other day, is like we had to go to our Airbnb and we had to take a vacuum to blow out the AC unit and all this stuff. And just to put a simple shop vac back here, I had to strap it down. Instead of just putting the vacuum in the back of the truck and letting it be there, I had to like strap it down and do all this stuff. I know, first world problems, but the deck system, love it, but it is a little bit of a hindrance at the same time when you're just using your truck for truck stuff. Continuing at the rear, we'll talk about the Carven Exhaust. I love the Carven Exhaust. I love the idle. I love the startup. When you floor the crap out of the truck, it actually has like a kind of Ford Raptor vibe to it, the V6 Raptors. I really, really do enjoy the Carven Exhaust. I wouldn't change anything really about it, except for I am swapping it out for another exhaust system. So I wouldn't really change anything about the exhaust. You buy it knowing that the exhaust is going to be loud. I mean, that is Carven's literal slogan, basically, is like, be loud and be different, right? So the exhaust is loud. It's not the best for road trips. If you're towing with the truck, if you do any of that stuff, like, I would recommend it if you're okay with loud exhaust. But if you're doing all that stuff on the daily, I definitely wouldn't recommend that exhaust. But if you're just cruising around town, or you're whipping around your truck like out in the desert, or you need to hear the RPMs and everything, then the Carven Exhaust is 100% the way to go. I really enjoyed it on this Tundra. I enjoyed it on the Tacoma too. It's a pretty good sounding exhaust. So the Carven Exhaust was great on this truck for sure. One of the mods that I did inside, really haven't done that many inside mods, but is the WeatherTech floor mat. So a lot of people have been having issues with their WeatherTechs. Mine peel up a lot. It's even worse on the passenger side. But basically I emailed them saying, hey, I'm having some issues, sent them some photos and stuff, and they were really good. So I don't know what people are complaining about on the Facebook page saying that WeatherTech sucks and they said like get used to it. I basically just sent them an email. It was pretty nice. I took some photos of this, said, hey guys, there's an issue with my stuff. Do you guys have a solution? Not sure why it's peeling up. It keeps getting caught under the door. I've taken it out several times to let it lay flat. They're like, hey, we're gonna send you out a new one. Basically, hopefully that works for you. And that was that. So literally sent 2 emails to them and then got a replacement set for the rear. So the WeatherTech in the rear, not the best, but the WeatherTech up front in the passenger seat and on the driver's side, it's actually doing pretty well. Not sure for the next truck if I'll use WeatherTech again. I mean, it's essentially doing its job, right? Like, we'll open up this. It's essentially doing its job. None of that stuff is up underneath. It's all right here on the mat. But there are other brands now that have been making floor mats for the Tundra, so maybe get a little bit more coverage because, you know, this isn't perfectly flat to it. So WeatherTech, pretty good. The rears, we're getting new rears, so their customer service, you know, it worked, so that's nice. And the last thing that I did was the screen protector right here and on the gauges. No issues with it at all. I did take off the anti-glare one and just put on the HD screen. I may bounce back come the summertime in Florida, but with the window tint, I really don't have any issues with it glaring here in Florida since I do have the window tint. So screen protect on the big 14-inch screen and the gauge cluster, really awesome. I really like it. No worries at all about fingerprints or stuff going into it and potentially scratching it on accident. So that is very awesome. The next thing is the ShiftPower USA. So I installed this throttle enhancer for the Tundra, and on this drive over here to like this area just to film for you guys, I actually turned it off to see how the truck was, because I did have it in dynamic mode, which is about 25% assisted throttle. I turned it off just to see how it was. Oh my God, this truck got super like gutless, and I like really had to put the pedal down. So apparently that's what stock was. I guess I just got used to it, but the throttle enhancer by ShiftPower USA, I freaking love that thing. It is awesome. The last thing that we did is up in the front area up here. Can't really talk about this right now because I haven't really tried them out, but we have Heretic Studios. We have their 20-inch light bar up front, their amber fog lights. So I'll talk about that more in another video, but I literally just installed it the other day and I want to get a good idea of how that stuff is. But the last mod comes up front and it's kind of hidden because we did the TRD air filters. So 2 TRD high flow air filters. I enjoyed them when I had the stock exhaust because the truck, you actually really heard turbo whistle a lot. If you're gonna get rid of a V8 and replace it for some twin turbos, I want to hear the turbos. But now that we have the Carven Exhaust, you can't really hear the turbos that much. The only thing that I'm waiting for though, I would do like an AFE Momentum full intake system or S&B cold air intakes whenever they come out. So that's the only thing that I would do different on the next truck. So guys, in conclusion, pretty much all the mods I've done so far with this truck, I'd probably do again. The only one, like I said, would probably be the deck system. I wouldn't do it again in a truck that was a purposeful truck, like using it for actual truck things, house renovation stuff. Not that it's not functional, it's just that it hinders your bed a lot. Now, if I was buying another Tundra to make it an actual overland rig, then I'd 100% recommend the decked system because you have great storage space for it. You have, your bed is already useless because you have a bed rack and a tent up top. So then I know where this decked system like fits itself, right? Smaller tires probably on the next one. Gonna do 18-inch wheels instead of 17-inch wheels. Not really much more. I mean, I really haven't done a lot of mods to this truck just because I've been enjoying it. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up and I will catch you all in the next one. All right, see you later.